Hey there, friend, and welcome. Super happy to have you tuning in to today's episode. Now, I'm looking forward to talking about today's topic because this topic actually comes from a place in my heart, on my mind, that honestly has just been frustrating me. So much to the point where I'm like, you know what? I need to talk about this, and I want to talk about it in a way that can help my listeners or my students that are tuning into me talking about topics like this so that they can know how to show up better, to show up uniquely different for the audience that they were blessed to serve within their current journey. So let me backtrack a little bit just to give some context as to where this internal frustration was coming from before I decided to create a topic on it to discuss it with y'all. So I have been in the entrepreneur space for over 10 years now. I studied it in school. I've been a part of these incredible marketing companies. I started my own business a few years back, and it's just been a beautiful journey. However, I have also noticed how the journey or the trends within the entrepreneur space, how they've been changing over time. And here's the thing about being in the entrepreneur space. It is so beautiful when it comes to wanting to generate financial freedom in your life, time freedom in your life, being able to take these beautiful ideas that God gave you and making those ideas come to life, making them a reality. It is truly something special. And that's why I have such a heart for it myself and such a heart to serve other people that are also in that same space. But I have noticed this trend or just kind of this approach that I've been seeing so many online entrepreneurs take, where their approach in showing up online to market themselves, their brand, their businesses, their products, or their services, it's just so to me, if I'm being real with you. Like, it's so salesy, it's not authentic, it's overplayed. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere. And it's getting to the point where I can't even watch content like that anymore that's related to other people selling products, services, just trying to get their brand out there. I respect it. I admire it. And like I said, I'm in that same space too. So yes, I do understand the game. But man, my heart just like cringes because a lot of these approaches, when it comes to marketing, especially on social media, it's just so fake and it feels so inauthentic and it is so unoriginal because so many people in the online entrepreneur space are doing it. Now, I'm not saying this to point fingers. I'm not saying this to blame. I'm just saying this to just vocalize a wake-up call that I truly believe that we all need as entrepreneurs ourselves, or if you are an aspiring entrepreneur and you want to be one day. So I wanted to create this episode to just give us a reminder of the approach that we should have when we're ready to show up online and market our business, to market our personal brands, to build our online presence. And I specifically want to talk about doing that marketing on social media and just kind of the perspective to have when you do that. Now, why is this so important? Because when you are in the entrepreneur space and you are showing up to market what it is that you created, you are naturally positioning yourself to be a leader. People are looking to you. People want to learn from you. They want your advice. They are investing in your products, your services, or even investing by watching your content, things like that. You are a leader. So as a leader in the specific industry that you're in, it's really important to show up for the people that you're serving in a way where they can truly receive it, where they're going to perceive it well. Now, can you please everyone? No, absolutely not. And that shouldn't be a goal. However, there's an approach to take where you are connecting deeper with people. You're getting to that human to human eye level as an entrepreneur to your audience and saying, hey, I get you. I get this. I'm a human too. Let's journey through this together. And lately, I've been seeing entrepreneurs putting themselves on a pedestal of, I'm way up here. I climbed my way to the top. You're still way down here. We're on completely two different status levels. And even though a lot of entrepreneurs, especially the online coaches, want to take their audience's hands that are more so at the bottom status and bring them up to the higher status with them, it's just how they're marketing it. It's how they're showing up in a way of saying that's just, man, it's just not coming across as good. It's not coming across as authentic. And that's from someone who's been in the space for so long and knows what true authentic marketing looks like. That works. That can build not just your income, but can build your impact, where you are truly showing up in a beautiful, helpful, leadership kind of way that your audience loves. So, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you aspire to have your own business, especially your own online business where you're going to be showing up on social media, I want you to keep in mind of 3 things that are going to help you have the kind of perspective that I believe that God would want all of us to have over our businesses when we show up for our target audience. Now, the first thing that I want to say, very first thing, be real. Just be real. Drop the facade of a picture perfect life. Drop the facade that your business is just thriving all the time and everything is just so wonderful and amazing and beautiful. Drop it. Don't just share the successes. Share the failures. Share the downfalls. Share not just the happy moments, but share the sad ones too. Why? Because you're being real at that point. A lot of times, I think that as entrepreneurs who are naturally stepping into leadership, we have this expectation on ourselves that we have to show up as the authority. We have to show up and look like we have it together because people are watching us. And who's going to invest in our products or our services if we don't look like we have it together? But I'm here to tell you right now that is wrong thinking. We live in a society today where people want more authenticity. They want to feel like you're human too. They want the inside scoop. And that's why I used the term earlier of just journeying together with them, because just as much as your audience is growing, even if they're not at the same status that you're at, you're growing too. You just might be growing in your own way, on your own path. So be real. Just be real. It bothers me so much when entrepreneurs are always showing up talking about how much money they're making, talking about how much time freedom they have, how they can travel the world and go wherever they want, and their life is just so great. And all of their posts, they just look like it's the best life ever. And I do believe that is a reflection in how fake social media can be and the perception that people just want other people to have on them. But when you show up real, your audience relates to that so much more. They're invested in that so much more. They're attracted to that so much more. I have posted content with no intention of it necessarily being marketing my products or services, but it ended up resulting in more students into my programs that I sell because I just was being real and truthful, and people love seeing that side of me. I've had content where I'm crying. I've had content where I've talked about the frustrations, where I've talked about how tired I can be, where I've talked about my issues as a person and my workaholism as an entrepreneur. Because, hey, let's be real. It's not all good and dandy. It's not all picture perfect. Let's get real. Open up that door to your life and let your audience see you, not just the entrepreneur you, the human you. Be real. Let's drop the facades as leaders in the industries that we're in, and let's be real. Let's connect with our audience in that way. The second thing that I want to say when it comes to current entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs that are wanting to, find mental freedom in their businesses and financial freedom in their businesses, and, being able to find that by marketing their products and services online, things of that nature. I want to remind you of the second thing, which is to be mindful. Don't just be mindful of the money that your target audience has, that you want them, that you desire for them to give you, and therefore investing in your products and services, and therefore resulting in you growing your income. Don't just be mindful of that. Don't just care about that. Don't just think about that or allow your mind to lead with that all the time. Because if you are, you're having such a money-driven mentality that you lose sight of the mission. You lose sight of your why. You lose sight of the reason that God called you to create this business in the first place. Don't just be mindful of that. Be mindful first and foremost of your audience's pain, of your audience's emotions. And not only being mindful of their pain and their emotions, but relating to it, understanding it in the capacity that you are able to understand it. And showing up in a way where you are being mindful and sensitive to that. Now, when I say this, I'm talking about the fact of posting content of things like, this is how I earned 6 figures last month, or this is how I run a 7-figure business and you can do it too. There's a way to kind of drop those accomplishments in a way that's not so like show-offy or salesy, or most importantly, doesn't trigger something in your audience's mind that's viewing that piece of content. This is what I mean by saying being mindful of their emotions and their pains. You have to think, and you have to just dig deep and remember that when you're posting content like that on social media, where you're showing the numbers, you're showing really how great you are and how good your business is doing, a lot of times we think that this is proof, and that proof is going to cause people to want to work with us. Can it? Sure. But there's also the standpoint of your audience watching that and not wanting to work with you because they're so turned off by that messaging, by that piece of content. And the reason why they're so turned off is because you triggered them. You triggered their pain. You triggered their emotion in a way that was not helpful. You triggered it in a way where it made them more sad, more anxious, more depressed, because they're thinking, why not me? Why is such and such saying in this piece of content they made 6 figures last month and I'm over here struggling, living paycheck to paycheck? Why not me? What about me? And then they just start to sink into this deep, dark hole of their own sadness, their own situation. That piece of content you put out did not inspire them that they could do it too. Maybe for some, but for others, that piece of content that you put out triggered them into a deep, dark hole. That's not being mindful. That's not truly helping those people. So just be mindful of things like that. I'm not the kind of person to drop, oh, I've made a 5-figure month this month. If you're that person, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's absolutely wrong. I'm just saying be mindful of their emotions. How can you better message that in a way that relates, in a way where you are helping them in some way, in a way where you are inspiring them beyond just your story of success. People don't just want the success. They don't just want to see that. They want to see the real. They want to see the real. They want to see, they just want to see you. And that kind of goes back to another point that I wanted to say in regards to being real in my first point. Yes, when you share your successes as an entrepreneur, that's great. Celebrate that. But don't just do that. Why? Because that's not real. Entrepreneurship isn't just about getting to that result. It takes hard work. It can feel so lonely. There are so many moments where you want to give up. It's hard. And a lot of times, I believe that entrepreneurs struggle with this different kind of depression because we're putting ourselves in a position of just figuring it out. We don't have someone giving us a paycheck and therefore financial stability. We're just figuring it out and trying to get our voice out there, trying to build something that doesn't exist yet. That can come with a lot of mental strongholds. So why just share the successes of entrepreneurship when you know good and dang well it took so much hard work, blood, sweat, tears, prayers, struggles, thoughts of wanting to give up in order to get to that success? Why not talk more about that? Like, be real. That's what your audience can relate to. They can relate to that struggle. They can relate to the stress. They can relate to the hard work. Talk about it. Be resonating with them about it. All right, that's enough of my rant when it comes to the 2 points I made already. Being real and being mindful. The last point that I want to say when it comes to the perspective to remember to have when you're showing up as an entrepreneur, promoting your brand, your products, your services, things like that. Be serving. Be serving. Help your audience. Help them. Uplift them. Be there for them, not just them being there for you by opening up their pockets to invest in your brand, your products, or services. No, you are the leader. Be there for them. I'm going to give you an example of what I feel like entrepreneurs think is serving, but actually is not when it comes to social media content specifically. When you put up a post and you're talking about, let's say you're trying to talk about a result, like how you made 6 figures last month, or the best side hustle, or how you're able to travel the world, or how you're able to do that. Like, you're just giving some sort of like result or some sort of outcome that people want, right? Don't just give them the what or the why. Give them a little sneak peek into the how. A lot of times people create content talking about the what and the why, but they don't want to share the how, because in order for people to get the how, well, they need to invest in this ebook. They need to invest in this course. They need to invest in this coaching program in order to learn the how. And therefore, you're not going to share the how in your social media posts or emails or whatever marketing channel you're using. Now, I do believe in not showing the full how of things in your free stuff, like the social media content. That should be saved, right? The full hows should be saved in your paid stuff because, hey, you're an expert in those fields, and yeah, you do deserve to get paid for those things. However, don't just leave them hanging. Show them a little sneak peek of the how. I am so bothered by posts that are like, oh, yep, this is the best side hustle, and it's this, and it's great. And the good thing is you can get started and learn it in a month. Wow, that's great. Okay, you told me the what. You did not tell me even the littlest glimpse of how I can get started with this. The how. This is how you serve. You share a little bit of the how. You help people regardless. You just show up for them regardless. Be serving. Be serving. It's not all about the money. And that is what's so hard for me to witness in this society in general, but specifically among entrepreneurs, we make it so much about money because we're just trying to hustle our way into finding financial stability. We are our own boss. The amount of our paychecks every month really depends on our work, our efforts. So it's hard not to have such a money-driven mentality because of that. And it's hard to remember to prioritize serving over that. But I'm telling you, you have to do that. Why? Because your audience needs it. They need your leadership, whether they pay for it or not. They would love your help, whether they pay for it or not. You know how many times I've given expert advice to people for free? Or how many times I've met my clients or students where they're at financially because they really wanted to work with me, and I am not about to say no to them just because they can't afford a high ticket offer of mine? Do you know how many times I've prayed over certain situations and God told me to let this person in for free or to give this person a free session, a free consultation, whatever? The amount of times that I've done that and I'm still doing that, and my business is still financially successful. Why? Because I want to serve. I'm focused on serving. I'm focused on the mission of helping my people with what God is calling me to do. I'm not so driven by money and financial goals. Do I have those goals? Absolutely. But I'm not so driven by them to the point where that's what I care about. That's where my mind and my heart's position is. No, you want to be careful with that. And a good way to be careful of that, a good way to connect with your audience on a much deeper level to the point where your business's income and impact ends up being successful, is by being mindful or having the perspective that houses the three things that I talked about on this episode. Be real. Be mindful. And be serving. Be real in the truth of what entrepreneurship comes with. Be real in the truth of your actual life and how you're actually doing. Be mindful of your audience's emotions and their pains. Are you triggering those pains and emotions in an unhealthy way? And if you are, through your content or your marketing efforts, fix it. Fix it. And be serving. Put your audience first. Help them. Don't just keep all the secrets to yourself. Don't just keep all the how-tos in your paid programs. Give them glimpses. If you don't give them the full hand, give them a finger. Give them to pull them up, I feel like that was a bad analogy, but you know what I'm trying to get at, right? Man, I truly believe that entrepreneurs can be better in just showing up authentically. And that's what I wanted this to be. Let's break the perception and just the cringe that comes with the online coaching and online entrepreneur space that they seem to have now. And let's fix it by showing up more authentically, showing up more in the way that God would want us to the audience that He has blessed us to have and to serve. Thanks so much for tuning in, my friend. I hope that this was eye-opening for you. I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope that it just kind of gave you the perspective that I truly feel can help you show up as the best God-empowered you, the best God-empowered entrepreneur, the best God-empowered leader that I know you can be. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoyed this episode, if it was helpful for you, go ahead and leave a review. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I would love to get your thoughts. And feel free to share this episode with any aspiring or current entrepreneurs that you feel could benefit from it. Thanks so much, friend, and we'll see you in another episode soon.